What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 29 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Grumbrindal's army knocked out the champion of Tzeentch, leaving only the champion of Nurgle as the remaining champion of the Dark Gods for that particular adventure. Should be fun, and we might even get to this episode depending on what other battles we have to do. Speaking of battles we have to do, last episode we ended off with the attack of the Jartrom clan, or Throng, on Dagrax and here, and it looks like Akarak did in fact bite the bullet and decided to attack us rather than sit in the settlement. I think this is appropriate considering it's a Khornate army, and maybe they should automatically have a behavior where they try to sally out rather than sit behind their fortress. I don't know. I just think the Khornate AI needs to be adjusted to be a lot more aggressive and less peaceful than it might otherwise be. But anyway, we're gonna start this battle, and gotta watch out for those blades of corn dropping upon our piles of artillery here. Lots of chosen Chaos Knights. Should be a pretty fun fight. Let's get to it. Alrighty, here we go for the ancestors and the divine spark. May the fires of the Jartrom never go out. And we're gonna do a little bit more fighting fire with fire here, as it is Khornate forces which have that tendency towards fire damage as well. So we'll see how all that works out for us. We're going to start Vanguard deployed with our units of gyrocopters with brimstone guns, and they are going to try to burninate the enemy Chaos Knights. We'll see how effective they can do so. Our artillery, of course, are going to begin firing immediately. Both our cannons will be focused firing the Chaos Knights over on the left flank, followed by the Gorby's chariots, should we actually need to target them, or should we have time, I should say, to target them after the Knights are destroyed. There's also a unit of aspiring champions out here, which needs to be a target of our cannons as well, but they're very slow moving, and thus we will prioritize the Knights and chariots first, and then the aspiring champions and the chosen, and the other stuff that's less likely to reach us afterwards. Alright, grudge throwers begin their work. Our brimstone guns continuing to harass the enemy and even dropping bombs into the lines of the Chaos Knights. The bombs do basically no damage to them, unfortunately, probably because they're larger models and are heavily armored, but, well, it's something. It's something. At the end of the day, the Knights are much, much more threatening than the Chaos Warriors or Chosen are, simply because those are less likely to reach our lines than these guys. Now, these guys are going to take their time to get to us, so and that does mean they're going to take a fair few volleys, though once again the gyrocopters with the brimstone guns, or just generally gyrocopters I guess, have fairly low levels of ammunition, especially if you don't bring too many engineers around, so there's a decent chance that these guys will actually run out of ammo before they are able to kill the Chaos Knights. And that said, they are certainly putting the damage down. 30% HP remaining on one and 40% on the other. We got a little bit of work on our flanks as well. The other Chaos Knight unit is being somewhat harassed by our summoned unit of gyrocopters, and we're even going to move a couple of our Iron Drakes over to start burninating these guys preemptively before they hit our lines. Looks like the enemy infantry have also gotten into the range of our flame cannons. We're starting to do a little bit of damage in combination with those grudge throwers. And how are we looking here? Looks like the Chaos Knights are booking it on out of there, and the first of the Iron Drakes are targeting the Gorby's chariots. Perhaps a decently smart move of them to actually move within the trees in the way that they are, as they are protecting them a little bit from the Iron Drakes, even though at the same time the larger Gorby's chariots are slowed down by doing so. The brimstone guns are nearly out of ammunition, and the Chaos Knights do keep moving, well, this tends to happen to us as well. They have lost plenty of HP, but their model counts are certainly still there, so it's quite a bit of mass and quite a bit of charge, and quite a bit of units still able to hit us if they get towards our lines, and it's looking more like they will indeed be able to. On the bright side, the main hill is still very much firing upon the enemy, and they are not really all that much closer to us. Gorby's chariots have finally gotten annoyed enough to try to charge forth, but we have moved one of our units of of Longbeards with great weapons here, led by Stochel himself, and to try to knock these things out. It does seem to take a while. Huh, they're not losing HP at all. What the heck? 3758. Why aren't you losing HP? Huh. I can see the Longbeards hitting them. Oh, their melee attack is actually surprisingly low, considering it's a great weapon variant. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Interesting. Well, they're clearly having a difficult time getting through that melee defense of those Gorbeast chariots. The armor shouldn't pose too much of a threat. It's quite interesting, the HP on those. Well, hopefully with Stochel there, he can at least break those chariots apart. And yeah, that's a lot of Longbeards hitting these things, and the HP is still taking quite a while to drop. Alright, looks like Stochel got that one, but the second unit of the Gorbeasts will peel away. They will not be able to avoid the damage from the flames nearly as well as they did from our great weapons, and they will be able to charge forth, but with so much damage to them, it looks like the single charge will be the only thing that they can achieve and will immediately break. And bigger piles of enemy units are moving forward, and that just means more burnination action for our units of Iron Drakes. Over on the side, we got Bernie, or the right flank, we got Bernie defending with the other unit of Longbeards, similar to what Stochel is doing on the other flank, and our Brimstone guns have now completely run out of ammunition. Now it's just a matter of seeing to what degree the enemy main line will be able to reach us here. It looks like the trolls will eschew targeting the flamethrower units and will instead attempt to go for the warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Probably a bad idea, as these guys are unbreakable and an old hand at surviving last stand battles. Out here, it looks like the Chaos Knights are routing through our units yet again. Oh, well, isn't that annoying? Good for them, but it's annoying as it will prevent a few of our own units from firing. Chaos Spawn and Chosen alike attempting to run up the hill towards our flamethrower units, who are currently being blocked by those Chaos Knights charging through them, or at the very least one of them is. The other continues burninating those Chosen down pretty decently effectively. The Chaos Spawn at last do make their way through, and the Iron Drakes will be engaged in melee, but the enemy army is down to the dregs at about 15% balance of power. And the Chaos Knights have failed. Bernie and the Longbeards have held off the Exalted Hero, the Knights, and the remnants of the enemy infantry here, and pretty much only the Lord and the Chaos Spawn will remain, and in fact, only the Chaos Spawn will remain, as the Lord will break together with the rest of his army, and will start taking those flames to the back, just as they did to the front. There we go. Alright, and just a matter of bringing down those Chaos Spawn, which we still have to do. The flame cannons will hopefully reduce the enemy numbers pretty significantly. But funnily enough, with the Longbeards on the flanks, it's going to take them a little bit of a while to get here in decent enough numbers to help knock those Chaos Spawn out. On the bright side, though, Chaos Spawn have very low melee defense, so unlike the Gorbeast chariots, both the Dwarf Warriors and the Longbeards alike should be able to rip them apart in due time, or in, let's say, decent time. Not much more to say about this from a tactical perspective, as we just have to wait while the enemy Chaos Spawn are brought down, but at least we get some nice shots of them facing off against the Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards. And there they go. As soon as Stochel arrived and probably used his Heart of Malevolence upon the enemy unit, the battle was full. Hours. Well and truly hours, whatever. Now we got a little bit of chasing to do, maybe knock out that Lord with cannon fire, flame, regular, like, and maybe a little help from the Iron Drakes, and oh, of course, he gets knocked down just as the Iron Drakes fire, meaning he was invincible while on the ground, but not to worry. While he was lying on the ground, it did allow the Iron Drakes to close the distance and cook him alive, similar to the rest of his army. There we go. Oh. Huh, interesting that he lost one of his arms to the flamethrowers like that. But anyway, there we go. A very nice battle, and frankly, it went better than it could have, because we were deployed in a sort of and position that could have been very dangerous for us. I decided to deploy on the left side primarily, with a few units protecting our rightmost flank, mostly because this was closer to the center, but if the enemy army had looped around like this, we might not have been able to move most of our artillery to deal with them in time, which could have been ugly. I suppose in that situation we could have moved the artillery around like this to fire into their sides, but there's a lot of hills here which might have interfered. Fortunately, though, the enemy was primarily here and only maybe, I don't know, less than half of them on this side, and it all worked out. All right, there we go. Not to be... Huh, why don't you have an... Huh. Odd. Did Stachel not have a weapon? I feel like he did, but it seemed like he didn't. I don't know, I'm gonna have to double check that later. But anyway, a very, very solid win for the Jartrum here. Despite the heavy armor of the enemy, we were able to, well, destroy our way through it. Primarily burn our way through it, mind you. The cannons did fairly okay, and they were, in fact, necessary to knock out those Chaos Knights. Though it looks like the Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns actually did fairly well at doing the same as well, which is good to know because these cannons aren't going to be in here forever. So when they're replaced, the Gyrocopters can still take on cavalry units, though to a lesser degree and with lesser numbers, but nonetheless, we have, well, barely any money as a reward for that. I mean, okay amount of oath gold at least. It's not like the healing is going to be too useful for us since we're going to auto-resolve what remains here. Too bad we couldn't quite chase all of the enemies down, as otherwise we would have been able to get the this thing and spare ourselves the turn, but, well, catching all the Chaos Knights and Gorby's chariots was never going to be super likely, so we'll execute and loot. And, oh right, we're still in the end turn since they were attacking us. Grigor Kiriakin, you want a military alliance? No, we're going to betray you, like, this turn, so, yeah. Alright. So, sort of anti-heroes, Dwarf Tattooist, Dwarf Bride, Dwarf Tattooist, Powdermaker, Dwarf Tattooist, Brewmaster. Ready for duty, technology research, nice. And there we are. Now, first thing is first, you are going to take Dagrax and then you're going to occupy it, auto-resolve, and occupy. Damn, it's worth a lot, but that's not what we're going to do. Alright, enemy killed in battle. And Dagrax and we can immediately start building stuff up here. Especially as it is a as it is a green territory. We can do oath gold buildings here, I think, because unlike the red and yellow territories, which absolutely need the Toolmakers Guild halls, this is probably a good place for it, especially considering that this place won't generate a crazy amount of money anyway. Definitely get the Tinkerer's Den. I guess we'll need the growth here for now to be replaced later. Go for the Tinkerer's Den. I guess we could start on the Armory. A little bit expensive, and, oddly enough, if we build a foundry here, or a foundry here, we could recruit flame cannons without resorting to doing it through global recruitment. Global recruitment would cost us 3 turns, eh? But funnily enough, the money that we save would be wasted on building 3 tiers of this, so it might still not be the most necessary thing in the world. Just build the armory for now, think about it. More likely than not, we'll just set up a, another lord to recruit for this army. Makes more sense to me. Snorri, while we're here, you take Spiked Reach. Occupied, I should say. And occupy. Alright, now what do we need to look at? Okay, wait, okay, we go into Empower the Guilds. What are we at here? Current Age of Reckoning progress 90%, eh? 37716. This is probably the closest we'll ever get to actually getting a full-on Age of Reckoning going. Let's see if we can make this happen, as I doubt that, I mean, at 42k, we'll never reach this high again, because we won't be doing nearly as many of the grudges, or legendary grudges at the same time. So, alright, so how do we do this? You, Tech Thief, go out here for a second. What are we at here? 7? You're fine. Don't bother wasting money on this for now. We're then going to move you, sir, right here to Ironstorm. which was sacked last turn, so we can just occupy it. Auto-resolve. And occupy. Now, I'm going to assume, Guildmaster, income from trade tariff, sure. You can reach Bloodwind Keep, which we should sack, even though it's worth a little bit of grudges, but yeah, go here. Like so. And sack it, and I imagine you won't be able to move far enough to take it again, and it's not like we want to anyway, because close victory, really, against this? No. Auto-resolve. They'll repair, it's fine. Nobody panic. Sack the place, and did I give you the Prospector back? I did, okay, good. Good. Enemy killed in battle, Ruby Ring of Ruin. Let's pop an airship camp and wait here. Oh, we might have enough money to actually complete all your buildings now. We'll see. Anyway, we're still gonna wait for Zatan to pop back in. And, wait, is it this turn that we're able to get the Lord back up and running? Or is it next turn? Rune Lord, it's this turn. So Kurgan Ranulfson, 25. I'm going to hope that we can get you in. And that Zatan will pop up either this turn or next turn. Stromney. Oh, you can't reach Dragon's Crossroad anyway. I was going to send you to occupy that. I mean, I guess we could then send Kurgan to do it while we loop around. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. This means that you are not needed here. Guildmaster and Stonemason. We'll give the Guildmaster to the new guy. And goodbye. There isn't another reason for you to be here, is there? I don't think so. You need a guild... You have a Guildmaster. Well, darn. Let's find... I think Guildmasters can go to heroes, unless I'm mistaken, not just lords, right? Or is that the other thing? There's two. One can go to... Yeah, okay, they can go to heroes as well. So frankly, I should probably transfer them all to heroes rather than lords who have more limited stuff on them. But anyway, architect, I'm going to... Well, I mean, I guess while we're here. Tower of Crack. What can we build here? What should we build here? I guess it's going to be another armory for free. Add to that. But there's nothing else that's critical here, so yeah, go for armory. Sarl Encampment, where are you? Oh, you're all the way out here. We could move to Sarl Encampment, but frankly, whatever we choose to build here probably won't be crazy expensive either. Yeah, Engineer's Workshop, that's fine. Keep it as it is. You, Architect, need to move to Forbidden Citadel for next turn, wherein we will upgrade the Great Hold, so move right to the edge of it, like so. Lovely. Alright, what's up next? Grumbrindle. Hey, you... Are you able to reach this? Ah, no, only in... 90%, eh? I don't know that we can reach that. I guess we'll see. King Azrael. Okay, there are some rats that we could kill, though. And... Ooh, wait. We need to maximize the amount of grudges that we can get. We can declare war on the Legion of Asgore right now. I wasn't going to. I was going to wait for a turn to retrofit. We can retrofit next turn. Or over the next few turns. It's fine. We need to try to make this Nullengrom happen. You are going to get 2 Worgen guns to transfer to the Thunderer army, because I don't want it to be all cannons. You cannot quite reach the Sentinels, but you can get close enough for our purposes. So you're going to go right here. There are no other rats remaining. And we'll declare war on these guys. I know it's only 112 grudges, but... I mean, it's unlikely, but we'll see. We'll give it a try. You are currently at war with Clan Moors. This is the only faction you're at war with. Alright. I guess we make a little deal with the devil. Queek, we will declare war on the Legion of Asgore, and you will pay us money for it. Yes. Good. Alright, let's see if we can make this happen. You're going to attack this, so should be auto-resolvable, I wager. Yeah, there's no defenses here. And auto-resolve, wait. Yeah, okay. Can't trust the auto-resolve. Occupy. We are keeping the Darklands for ourselves after all. And Ungrim, while you will need to move northward, you can move slightly southward as well. Since we've started on this, we may as well continue while the reinforcements arrive. King Azrael. To the Tower of Gorgoth, and this should be full of Rictus rats, in theory. And indeed it is. How many grudges is this worth? Ooh, 1439, yes, alright, that worked out. Decisive victory, yeah, okay, the defenses are garbage, so we can auto-resolve you. And we can occupy you. Alright, up to 94%, we are still, still short. 39 out of 42. Okay. Can we make this happen? Hey, another guildmaster. Clan Rictus destroyed. Possibly could have waited for their defeat trait. I think in SFO, Rictus has a really good defeat trait. I think it's like speed for your entire army, which is fantastic. But I think in vanilla it might not be as good. I don't remember what it is exactly. But I think there is a difference. I could be wrong. But anyway, because I remember trying to get Rictus's defeat trait on multiple hero or multiple lords in SFO, but I don't remember doing it in vanilla. Anyway, you guys, you're still recruiting. Yuri Brynbright, though, you can head to Karak Kadrin, wherein you will begin the retrofit of Ungrim's army by building him some more slayers. And also, let's move you engineer into this army while we're at it. Ooh, also, speaking of engineers, we need one for Belagar. Okay, we need one for Belagar, another one for Belagar. But he might be busy right now. You are going to start on some Giant Slayers first, and then some Doomseekers second, mostly because the Giant Slayers cost less per turn than the Doomseekers do. We can also briefly switch, I guess, Karakadrin to Masters of Steel and Stone for the additional local recruitment capacity that we need. Alrighty. Who's up next? Zamnil Raki Break. Okay, you guys are going to be pretty critical here. So we got 1,200 and 1,200. Can we reach Lucchini with Belagar? Oh, right, you. Keep recruiting. Keep recruiting, you guy. And with all of your long beard buffs. Keep doing what you're doing. Since we have one turn, I think we've no choice but to hit Lucchini, ignoring the rats this turn. This might mean that we lose Tobaro. I'm hoping that it won't mean we lose Skaven Blight, but with Mikhail Leadstrong... or Leadstrong recruiting, I hope that it's safe. Alright, you, Belagar. This is really important. Go here. How much do we need? Okay, it still won't be enough, but... Okay, wait, just... Can... Okay, please don't be a broken port. Please don't be a broken port. Oh, okay, good. It can land... Oh, let me guess, we can't? The drum? The drum? It will survive. It'll be very badly damaged for the next battle. This doesn't feel worth fighting, but... What about this? What's in here? Ooh, we actually have a half stack here. Okay, this is a lot more worth... A lot... Yeah, we'll fight this one, not this one. Alright, so I think we're going to then hurt the drum with an auto-resolve. Don't die, drum. Okay, no. It's fine. We will occupy it. This puts us up to 97%. Another guild master, another student. Okay, one of you can have the students. Can we get to the final level of Age of Reckoning? We are... Ah, yes we can. Ah, beautiful. We should have just enough if we take for Alpha. Absolutely beautiful. Go right here. As long as you can win this fight with your relatively basic Corlers and Dwarf Warriors, but you should be fine. The enemy's not going to be particularly good at settlement defenses, though we've been surprised before. Let's see if we'll be surprised again. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Should be a pretty interesting battle. It's technically a very much inconsequential battle, at least in the sense that we don't care what happens to this army of ours, and we don't really care about this territory. But since this will be the deciding factor on whether we reach the 100% Age of Reckoning, it's very much a consequential battle. So there is that. Anyway, I tried to deploy far enough away so that the enemy mortars and potentially deck gunners were not able to hit us, but unfortunately the enemy was smart enough to deploy one of the deck gunners close enough to immediately start firing upon us. This could have been a lot more dangerous if they had deployed both of their units of deck gunners and both of their mortars close up, but with only the one, we should be able to whittle it down with artillery fire quickly enough so that it offers no more threat to us, or at least little enough. And there we go, the flame cannon is in range as well. Those dead gunners will melt away and crumble and are gone. Lovely. With that, the enemy is no longer a threat at the current distance that we're at, which means free reign for our artillery to bombard at least the entrances into the enemy settlement. A couple volleys from the artillery sees the unit of handgunners out here pretty much decimated and begin to crumble, and just like the deck gunners did. And I imagine the same thing will happen to the next unit in line. Who do we have here? Another unit of handgunners. Well, we've seen these guys be pretty dangerous in the past, so I might as well knock them out. Oh, and a unit of Sartosa militia moves to reinforce the dead, but perhaps they want to join the dead. So this is all that's going to allow them to do. There we go. Nice to get the occasional minor settlement battle and certainly show off a little bit of mixed artillery fire as we have cannons, grudge throwers, and flame cannon working together at once. Lovely. Alright, zombie powered gunnery mob with handguns is dead. Sartosa militia attempting to do the dance and try to dodge the shots here, but there isn't really too much space to do the dance and the close confines of this particular entrance of the settlement, and it looks like this unit will be out nearly as fast as the other. There we go, very nice volley from the flame cannons. And an absolutely brutal day for the Sartosans and the zombies alike. Alright, out here we got the cannon fire focusing down some unit of zombie pirate and deckhands mobs. The cowbirds would probably not be particularly useful against our army. Anyway, they do have that armor piercing on them, but the anti-large will serve pretty much no purpose. Actually, don't remember, are Anvils of Doom large units or not? Not that it matters all that much. I guess next time we use one of the Anvil of Doom Lords, I'll look into it. And how are those Morgels? We can't actually see the Morgels here, so all the damage that they took here, I believe, was just additional damage from being near to another unit that was getting hit. But hey, it worked for us. And hopefully we'll continue doing so. I'm going to speed this up a little bit as we move up now. The army, looks like a repositioning from the enemy Morgels, but we've repositioned ourselves as well. And the flame cannons and other artillery pieces are going to fire once again as well. Oh, this poor AI, it really doesn't know what to do either. It has to completely back off or it has to completely charge towards us, as standing like this isn't really going to help, especially while it doesn't have any artillery or any other kind of support that it can offer. But that's the nature of the minor settlement battles, and frankly siege battles a lot of the time as well, at least when you have artillery and range superiority. Which is why, generally speaking, I prefer field battles, but when you have an army that's mostly melee troops, then the sieges and minor settlement battles become real fun once again. When you have to take the settlement and stuff street by street, but obviously we're not going to heavily damage a primarily ranged army, and just to do that, we'll leave that to the Slayer armies and the other armies that are melee heavy. Especially considering we got more of those on the way, as we still got Iron Breakers and, oh well, there's the hammers as well, but Iron Breakers to be built or to be confederated, as well as the newly built or being constructed currently a Longbeard army. Anyway, the Morgels go down under fire from Quarrelers and Flamethrowers alike, and it looks like some Man-Eaters without organ guns, Man-Eaters with Ogre pistols try to move towards us as well. And it looks like they'll at least get towards our Lord, only to continue getting cooked by flamethrowers. Love all the smoke and the scorch marks on the ground that this leaves behind. Sadly for the Man-Eaters, I don't think they love the same. There we go, and then there was one, and then there was none as the Man-Eaters are out. But that one unit of Man-Eaters did allow the other unit of Man-Eaters to close the distance with the Longbeards. Sadly, they didn't get too much work actually killing the Longbeards, and the Quarrelers were able to damage them heavily enough so that they run. And we'll probably get a few more shots into their backs as well. Unless we target something else. What do we have here? Oh wow, another unit moving in. that you were going to target rather than these guys. I suppose it doesn't matter. Here comes a unit of depth guard, but we have once again moved our flamethrowers in. We only have the one Iron Drake unit, but it's been quite useful. And vanilla depth guard are extremely fragile, much more so than an SFO, and a single volley from the Iron Drakes takes about half of their HP off, meaning another volley, and these guys are going to be pretty much done. You gotta love fire units. There we go. Very, very nice. And just like that, with the second volley, the Owl Bloodletter, the enemy unit is in critical binding. Surprisingly, they did survive that volley, but I don't imagine they'll survive another. And there we go. Crumbling begins, and the depth guard book it on out of there. Really haven't fought a lot of depth guard, or I guess generally vampire coast throughout this campaign as yet, and Aranessa will be gone fairly soon, but we'll probably send somebody to deal with Noctilus at some point. Can't really even peace with him or not, we can't really keep him alive so that he could potentially sail up and down and annoy our coast. Anyway, looks like some deck droppers and fellbats. The enemy is really sort of feeding their army to us 1, 2, or 3 units at a time, and I don't imagine that's working. Flames hit the sky, and the fellbats drop out of it. Of course, they will attempt to land upon our range units as fast as they can, and though they will begin crumbling away just as they do. The deck droppers, however, will stay up there and will attempt to do some damage from the sky, but funnily enough, despite the lack of melee damage, they probably would have been better off landing rather than taking artillery fire and range fire up there. More man-eaters attempt to close the distance and will apparently try to rout through our Iron Drakes and then rout right back as they don't know where to run. The unit of animated hulks out here, well, since the ogres charge, the undead ogres should follow suit as well. But these guys are pretty darn vulnerable to cannon fire, and hey, they got an invocation of Nehek on them, so maybe they will be able to somewhat close the distance. We'll see. And I wonder why they're sort of halting like that. They sort of moved and then halted and then moved and halted, and now they're moving again. It might be the pathing. Sometimes, well, a lot of the time, most of the time, pathing is really tends to interfere with units, especially in minor settlements with the with sort of paths that are not exactly straight. I mean, this is fairly... It's a shallow curve. I don't think that's what was happening. But it does happen, even if it wasn't necessarily what was happening here. Anyway, the animated hulks continue to move forward a little bit, but just get ripped apart. I mean, the closer they get, the more likely the flame throwers and the quarrelers will hit them, and it looks like they'll melt away, or they can achieve anything else. Anyway, we'll speed it up a little bit more once again. Oh, another unit of zombie pirates try to make their way forth, but the quarrelers will simply fire over the Imperial buildings and destroy them as well. We've taken pretty much no casualties at this point at this time, or at the very least, little enough. Though we are starting to very much run out of ammunition on the artillery. Once again, gotta remember this is just a random pile of units. It's not really an army. I mean, it is an army, but you know what I mean. And we certainly don't have the additional ammunition from the engineers. We don't have the buffs from veterancy or anything along those lines. So we can't be using those artillery pieces for nearly as long as we normally might. Anyway, another unit of deck droppers attempts to harass us with their pistols, I believe, or these handguns. I guess it doesn't really matter. They're nothing now, as they drop out of the sky. Alright, I love all the little particle effects left after the flamethrowers fire as well. Very nice. And I do believe we're pretty much done. Gonna move forward a little bit. Another unit tries to move towards us, only to get riddled with quarrels once again. And it does look like even some of the artillery pieces are getting a few shots in here. I saw cannon fire and grudge thrower fire. I guess we have a decent line of fire once again. Alright, how are we looking now? Move forward once again a teensy bit. The balance of power is at about 70% in our favor, and I think we can just sort of speed it up a little bit until the enemy is willing to actually fight. There we go. The enemy lord, together with another unit of deckhands mobs with halberds, will do one last sally forth. Whether this allows them to achieve anything, it remains to be seen, though I somehow doubt it. Our Dwarf Lord is here as well. The barricade is unfortunately not letting me move the camera towards him, but he's fighting the enemy Lord in the middle of the fray. I like that the Longbeards and the Deckhands are mostly focusing each other while the two Lords duel, getting a little bit of supporting fire from our Quarrelers, though that's probably somewhat dangerous, at least, to our own units there. Alright. And as soon as the enemy Lord drops, I'm willing to... Oh, don't do that. Oh, no. Iron Drakes. I do love the flame units, but they're always so dangerous to your own army. And there we go. It looks like the enemy Lord begins to disintegrate, and you know what? Maybe the flame units will allow it to happen a little bit quicker, as the enemy Lord will melt and the entire army will break. There we go. Had to do that perhaps a little bit more systematically than usual, but as I said, we're at a critical juncture in terms of needing all of the grudges settled, so we couldn't afford to lose. While it was unlikely, I wasn't willing to take any kind of a risk in this particular situation. Alright, there we go. Nice, systematic, and it certainly worked out, despite this being just a random pile of units that we have been holding here of necessity. This isn't a real army, in a sense, and will be retrofitted into something completely different eventually. We've also got the Ironbreaker army, or armies, as there's a couple of variations of it I want to try coming in, but we'll do that when we confederate Thorgrim in the next, was it 2 or 3 turns? I guess we're about to find out. Occupy this. Yes. Yes. Occupy. That puts us to 100%. Ooh. And just barely 43 current grudges over, though we did have an extra 500 grudges in the bank, just in case, from that Rune Helm of Zufbar. So, yeah, might want to then save it for the next thing, possibly, though I doubt we'll ever once again reach this high of a level of grudges. So as for Thorgrim, as we can see, we got 2-3-3 or 2-3-2 upgrade turns, 3-2-2. Okay, that's the same place. 3. Alright, so in 3 turns, once all of these buildings are completed, we will confederate him. I just want him to have built up his territories as much as physically possible. And before we get there, as we're going to definitely get a lot of money problems immediately, because we need a lot of armies to hold. On the bright side, though, we shouldn't need one here. As Ungrim is moving down here, though, I guess we'll have Ungrim or King Azrael here. Though realistically, we should probably send King Azrael to deal with the Caravan of Blue Roses. There are 3 armies here, but the Clan Moors issue will still persist. And we're not currently at war with them, but as soon as Thorgrim is off the field, they'll probably declare war on us, at least. That's what I would wager would happen. Anyway, let's keep on moving, shall we? Grombe, you are going to go into encamp. And you're going to move towards Malignance of the Seven Poxes, who you should be able to knock out next turn. Although, wait. Able to go back into encamp stance? You're not healing to full. There is another reason why we might want to potentially do the Rune Helm of Zufbar. And that is the additional casualty or punishment we get. It's not as much as it is an SFO, but it would allow this army to heal to full. On the other hand, it is effectively healing to full. I know their army is super heavily damaged right now, so maybe it is still worth our time to save it. Anyway, let's see who else needs to do things. Tech Thief, Skolson. Is there a reason I hadn't? Oh, I was saving money. Nah, you're fine. Go steal some tech. Professional interest, and nice, and another student as well. Alright, what's our research rate, by the way? 505, 1111, still 2 Unrecite Ancient Grudges, and Mastercrafted Weapons, so it looks like the capstones will still be 2, so I assume this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this are all 2. Since they didn't upgrade at 500, they would either be at 6 or 800 then. which ain't great, but it certainly reduced the amount of turns we have to take. Plus, we gotta remember that we still have both trees to go through. And we basically didn't do anything here. And now that we're starting to use Longbeards quite a bit, we'll probably want to make good use of that. Ooh, Dwarf and Emissary. Yeah, we're gonna go Dwarf and Emissaries next. Allegiance points gained is going to be quite useful to us, though there's other really useful stuff here, like the heavy plate or heavy armor plating for the flying units, and generally speaking, upkeep and other stuff, as we are using a fair bit of them, and we have a flying army that will need to be constructed. Probably we'll construct it out of the airfield of Karazakarak, which should give us additional recruitment ranks. +5 for gyrocopters and gyrobombers. Yeah, that'll basically allow us to build them at rank 9. Surprisingly, it does nothing for thunder barges. Maybe the constructing techs aren't transferable between the two, or it's an old landmark and they didn't add it. That particular effect. Anyway, Dimzad Thunderstone, Tech Thief Gilded Stone. We need you to keep watching all over this place. 65, 6% to get wounded. What about here? 2% to get wounded. We'll take it. I don't know whether you can reach this in one turn, but it looks like you can, so go for it. Go, go, go. And professional interest for you as well, sir. Oh, I should probably level both of the tech thieves up, as they need all the help with the tech thievery that they can get. Frankly, we don't have a lot of tech thieves right now, but, you know. It's always a balancing act, whether a balancing act of getting annoyed by having too many agents, but also, you know, having enough of them so that you don't get annoyed by the lack of them. Anyway, let's see. Money doesn't need to move. Sindri, I don't remember who you are. Oh, you're one of the engineers that was supposed to join Cobalt Redbeard. Yes. Cobalt, lose the Dwarf Warrior, and get that NG in here. And that's 3 NGs. And 1 Thane that is going to get sent to another army, but he can stick around for a little bit. We also will give the Grumbling Guard to our Longbeard army. So gotta figure out what we want to mix with the Longbeards, since this is gonna be like tons and tons of Longbeards. Maybe some Allegiance stuff? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Who is up next? I believe... yes, we have the other 2 sets of Constructors, and then we still have to move. So, Constructors, you're headed to Blizzard Peak and then to Gorger Rock alike. So, to Blizzard Peak. And to Gorger Rock. Oh, I'm excited about this 100%. Not even because of the buffs that they'll gain faction-wide, which is great, but because of the additional Grudge Settler units, 2 of which are going to be another Gyrocopter with Trollhammer, and another one of these Iron Drakes, Grudge Settler Iron Drakes for this army. It's quite nice. Get a little bit of that fire reduction. Grumbrindle is sort of an accidental fire army in that a lot of his units deal fire damage, even though they're not really trying to. We gotta make sure that, if we get a second... Wait, do we even have 1? Yeah, we do have 2 Banners of Eternal Flame. One's on Belagar. I guess we give 1 to Gromby and then 1 to Stochel. You don't need a shipwright. Belagar, you don't need the other Banner of Eternal Flame. I think you just had it from the Confederation. What we'll also need is every army that has a Thunder Barge, or Fire Barge, or whatever, should have at least should have 1 Lichbone Pennant. We already have 1 on Gromby, though, so that's fine. And who in his army doesn't deal fire damage? It's the Organ Guns. This one does because it has the Rune of Burning on it, but we can just pop the... we can just pop the banner on the Organ Guns, and then pretty much the entire army will deal fire damage. Funnily enough, not Gromby himself, but, well, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I'm getting distracted, as I always do. Blizzard Peak. This stuff should be... well, it's barely cheaper. Wait, you're not on Blizzard Peak, you're an Ice Spewer. How dare you? Go to Blizzard Peak. Why would you lie to me? I thought you loved me. Okay, go. Saltworks and Drinking Hall and Guild Marketplace, and then you guys should try to get to Gorger Rock, but I guess that'll be a next turn sort of thing. Well, one of you can get there. You know what? Maybe 1 is enough. Let's see. Because we have already the reductions from the toolmakers here. It's cheap enough. It's fine. It's fine. The extra 15% won't make enough of a difference for us to care. Unless, wait. Anything will take 1 turn to build? No. What about here? Anything take 1 turn to build? No, we're fine. Meaning, you two can now loop back around this way towards Uzkalak and then up to Carrick Doom and Carrick Valag. We could also potentially trade something like Beckhofen for Carrick Valag, but I think we still need to save. I want Schwarzhofen from these guys. We will also want Carrick Asgaraz, so that's 2 things we need to trade from them. 3 if we count Gristle Valley. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have Griffin Wood as a spare, but they might not want Griffin Wood compared to some of the other stuff. And if they take any more territories, whether it be from Durthu or the orcs up here or anything like that, we won't have enough. So we can't waste it on these guys, which means we do in fact have to betray these guys. So, sorry. 1, 2, wait. 2, and 3. 10 turns, then we declare war on them, take their stuff, trade it to the other Kislevites. Alright. Besides, this faction isn't particularly useful or doing anything, so let's allow them to die. Die with honor. Fighting. Anyway, Fort Oberstyre. Yes, we will upgrade the Dwarf Keep here. We will delete the no longer needed clan barracks here. We will then push you on towards Castle Dreckenhof, wherein we will build the gold mine up to tier 4 next turn. We need to go back to Castle Tempelhof? No, not right now. What about Waldenhof? We can pass it and reduce the upkeep there. All of you head out here, please. Now, like so, and then you can wait at Castle Dreckenhof next turn. Alright, next, before I forget, Belagar. I wanted you to have another engineer for a number of reasons. I guess, well, oh man, I hesitate to delete another one of the rangers, but it probably is the way to go about it.
You have my hammer.
Let's get this guy, Ancient. Campaign Moon Trench, yeah, let's get this guy. You can go in here. I guess since we can't move you this turn, we'll move you next turn anyway. I really like the whole 4, 3, and 4 thing that we had going. I don't want to get rid of the drum, despite the fact that the auto-resolve hates it. And we probably do want some artillery, though we could replace all 3 with these with 2 thunder barges, and the thunder barges would be able to sort of mobile support the bugmans. Though on the other hand, I don't want to go too heavy into thunder barges on the... as we have them elsewhere. Anyway, I think, folks, with that, we are pretty much out of time. Oh, man, I really wanted to end the turn and get this going. But we got... Alright, fine. We got a little bit of admin to do, then. And before we do, we got buildings to build. So let's do that right now, real quick. Silver Tower of Sorcerers. You are starting to get reductions, but not crazy enough yet, and it's not worth it to upgrade you. At least not yet. Not until we get further reductions. Dwarf Mining Colony here, please, and we'll upgrade Harganeth. It was a tier 5 for some reason, which we definitely want to make use of to immediately upgrade Harganeth to tier 3. We're going to go for Trinket Maker here to reduce the costs, especially since we already have Trinket Makers, and the place, because of the dyes and stuff, will be making decent amounts of cash. Griffinwood, we will reduce some military building costs there. Verdanos will probably fall to the... Bloody Hands next turn. Ironstorm, we will trade to our allies. And that's going to ignore for now. Same with Volery and the Fortress of Eyes. I'll probably do that between the... Well, actually, I won't do it between the episodes because I want to end the turn right now. Howling Wastes, the Sentinels. You don't need the clan barracks here. And we can upgrade you immediately to next tier, though it's costly. But it's not like we're not protecting the place. Ostermark, you're in the same position as the other places. We need to build some stuff here, military, to trade to Vissenland, but right now we can't. Tower of Gorgoth. You already have a Monument of Grimnir here. Oh. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Wait. A moment. Yori, you are going to build these guys for Rongrim, but we could build them much faster here at the Tower of Gorgoth. Go figure. And the only thing we need to see is, wait, they would be at rank 4 and they cost 780 to recruit. For you... Wait, what? It's the same rank and they actually cost more to recruit? What the heck? Okay, Grimnir's Monument of Correcadrin. Oh, it barely does anything. +2 recruit rank. What the heck, game? Okay, I guess the better stuff is at a higher tier, but even then it's only +2 recruit rank. Yeah, it's faction-wide at next tier, though, which is nice, but, I was expecting more from the monument. Okay, well, it means that there is no real reason to build these guys here. We can still transfer these guys, but we don't have to do it in that particular manner, so you can move out. We'll get another temporary lord to recruit at the Tower of Gorgoth, and it also means that we don't need you to be in Masters of Steel and Stone. I guess that would have reduced the cost, but, you know, I'd rather retrofit sooner, so don't do that. Alright, you have to leave the settlement, because you're gonna heal anyway, so it's fine, go here. And then we'll get a temporary recruiter Lord Rorik Cromson. I'm gonna put you in charge of an army at some point, I swear, man. We've been using you as a sort of temporary / recruiter lord for too long, and I feel bad. Anyway, build 3 Doomseekers. If only we could reduce the time to build the Giant Slayers to 2 turns. At that point, I'd be willing to spend some gold on it. Can we build any artillery here? We can. So if we want to give Ungrim some artillery... although what kind? He has the Goblin Heroes. I'm not so sure that he'd need a lot of them. You know what, hold off on it for now. I haven't decided completely what we're going to put in his army, though he could certainly use more war drums. I keep building war drums on everybody, but I don't know. There may be something else that... Oh, well, we actually don't have enough allegiance with these guys to do it. We do have enough of these guys. But we probably should keep the allegiance on one of these factions. Just so that one of them will give us sky junks eventually. And I guess the northern provinces will be the way to go. I'll double check which one is more likely to actually reach sky junk capability, so we'll do that. Karazakarak is the only one that wants us to do a mission for them. Well, that's not nice, but whatever. Alright, that's fine then. Let's keep going. That was me getting distracted yet again. Wolfland's Tower of Gorgoth. I guess keep the military structures here since, well, we're gonna need military stuff here. And go for Oath Gold. Since we're already at a fairly high tier and most of the stuff is constructed, we don't need to worry about that, which means we can remove the Dwarf Tinkerer's shop out of the Demon Stump and replace it with another Oath Gold structure. We still need Oath Gold. We're wasting 1,000 per turn for a while until we build everything up. Rafrafa and Lucchini. Well, I doubt that you're going to fall, at least in the next few turns, but while I would love to upgrade the Dwarf Keeps here, I think it's more important to upgrade the Keep at Miragliano instead, meaning we're going to have to ignore you for now. What about... in this place, we're probably going to be generating a lot of money, even with the reduction due to the unpleasant climate. It's probably likely that the trinket makers will give us more value since we have 2 ports. We can also go for the, I guess, barley field. Though more likely than not, we'll actually need defenses in all of these territories since they're coastal. And thus, maybe we'll build a refectory here instead, rather than the barley field. Because this position will be taken by the, yeah, fine. Will be taken by defenses. Anything coastal, anything here, we'll probably need it. Anyway, that looks good, and once again I lost my spot. Great job, Ruinous. Griffinwood, no, Ivory Road, you were next. Let's go for Tusk Market, let's go for, well, pretty much everything. And just upgrade all the econ stuff, a drinking hall, and lastly... what are we missing here? Engineer thing. And another drinking hall. Alright, yeah, we definitely need to get an army back here before one of these guys declares war on us. We need to keep an eye on them piecing out with each other. Currently, they're still in a war and have been in a stalemate, apparently, for 75 turns. As long as that doesn't stop, at which point they'll both declare war on us. Valley of Horns will upgrade you. Karakazorn is near to tier 4, which is great, and will hopefully make us a ton of money. Northern Sylvania. Waldenhof, we can wait on you. Northern Wastes. Guy already checked you. Oh, it went out of order again. Game, why? Why are you doing this to me? Alright, okay, now I have to refine my order. Sorry about that, guys. I usually do some of this, or a decent amount of this, between the episodes for good reason. Yeah, okay, now we're holding off on you. Black Blood Pass. We could probably move over here later. That's fine. As in, move over there with the Architect army. Drinking hall and engineer's workshop 2.6k. Damn, that's expensive. That's crazy expensive, but we're still gonna build it. And just so we don't have to see it anymore. Waldenhof, I already checked you like 3 times, my bad. Granary, not needed right now because we don't have character lag. Frozen City, yes, let's build stuff here. Keep building. Do these reduce construction costs? No. Funnily enough, neither quarries nor lumber yards reduce construction costs for dwarfs, which is kind of surprising to me. Although, Nagrar is kind of in danger of getting attacked by something from the sea, but I still think we need the trinket makers here to reduce costs. Nagrar, let's upgrade you. Let's also upgrade the final level of the feast hall, and might as well upgrade the final level of the stone bread bakery. And go for the tinkerer's den, and then we have to ask ourselves whether we need defenses at the frozen city. And I think for now we're okay, so go for the armory. Just what we build pretty much everywhere. Although, frankly, we probably won't need that many more runesmiths. Maybe the armory isn't going to be all that useful anymore, but it does provide... Actually, it doesn't really provide all that much. The foundries at least provide Lord Recruit ranks faction-wide, so I think assuming that we have enough Rune Lords halls, we start going for foundries next. Probably the way to do it. Fortress of the Damned, you can hold on to your defenses, and I think we're not going to spend that much money on you right now. Blood Peak, Veil of Titans, etc. Ooh, that's a lot of expensive upgrades, but once again, we're not going to send the constructors all the way down here unless we build another set of constructors, which we won't do right now. Keep building the engineer buildings, though, for the research and for the engineer capacity, because we need tons of those. And, just build it. Just build it all up. Build it all up, and then we won't have to essentially touch this particular territory ever again. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, you're nearly tier 3. And we'll have to figure out whether it's better to use Empower the Guilds or whether it's better to use High King's Tribute, which I'm not so sure of. Jarna Grund. And go for the Engineers Guild Hall. And Stormbreak, okay, you guys are going to get constructors. More importantly than that,
Lord of Clan Borg.
Malakai. Rune-etched hull, max level, there you go. We don't need any of the other things, at least not at the current time, but we will want to get to the assembly line shortly. Maybe I should have saved enough money to build this, but it only takes 1 turn to build each iteration or each level of thing, so we're good. Alrighty, with that, assuming there's no Diplo to do, Robsman clan wants that trade back, but that's not gonna happen.
Bringer of glory.
Nagaround, parts of Zartosa, Dreadfleet Legion, the Gore Queen, none of them are going to be useful in terms of piecing out, even though they probably would have given us a decent amount of cash, but we're going to destroy them instead. Here on Atmood, building upgrade available, damage outpost building, blah 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 blah. End the turn, just to double check, we're at 100%, yes. End the turn, and assuming nobody attacks us, we should get our Age of Reckoning. Oh, Okri. I have a bad habit of forgetting about you like every turn. My bad. Oh! Huh, okay, it's good that you moved. Let's see this guy here. Really? He's moving towards us. He's moving towards us, despite the fact that they've even lost Nagarond to the High Elves, to Nagaroth. The AI hating on the player so much is just hilarious.
Hold your tongue.
Noctilus, you want peace? Funnily enough, with us soon taking these coastal territories, Noctilus might be kind of a menace. This is actually an interesting question. You know what, let's peace out with him for now. Here's the thing. I don't really care about the elf thing, and he might be a thorn in the side of the elves, so let's do this. Free cash. It's not like we're fighting him right now, anyway. And Karazagat... okay, well, that was bound to happen. Funnily enough, if we had Confederate... Now, then he would have just attacked us. I didn't even know these two weren't at war. Enter war inside of ally, yeah. We're still going to wait for the 2 turns or whatever. And Wurzag is back with a decent stack, and we were expecting to lose Verdanos, which is why we didn't invest in it for the last effort. And there we go. Age of Reckoning complete. Nolan Grom, 100%. Control +5 all provinces, growth +50 all provinces, upkeep reduction for Grudge Settler units and all Grudge Settler mercenaries. And I'm actually curious. Oh, would you look at that? They besieged the Jartrum. I wasn't expecting that.
Mindless or foolhardy?
I'm impressed that they were able to reach us here. This should mean a pretty nice battle, and we're damaged because they didn't let us heal up. Well, that's a great battle that the Jartrum will get to start on next episode. What I wanted to see, though, was... What the bloody... Okay, enter a new age. A new age of reckoning begins immediately. Yeah, we're not delaying it. 20% more? Yeah. I mean, in the early game it felt okay, and I wanted to drag this out as much as possible because I was thinking, hey, the devs will fix it and the numbers will be okay. But they never did. I mean, they did maybe for new campaigns, but they didn't do it for us, so enter a new age. Alright. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Current... Oh! Huh. Maybe I'm wrong. Current grudges progress out of 24k. Okay, that's a lot better than 40. It's basically reduced by half, considering what we had before at 42k. That definitely wasn't 20%. This is a lot more achievable. Alright, well, whatever patch did this, great job, devs. I should not have said anything, but it's too late. It's been said. we suffered a lot through getting to that one, so we're looking good now. And that'll make it a lot easier to acquire Grudge Settler units, and what I wanted to check for like the 50th time was, okay, so yeah, we get one of each type. I think this also needs an adjustment, so that basically, yeah, the final level is, I believe, the Flame Cannons and the Troll Hammers. Troll Hammer Flyers, rather, the Gyrocopters. But the first level is just like... Slayers and Quarrelers, so I think maybe at the final level you get maybe 3 Slayers and 3 Quarrelers, and then 2, whatever the next level is, Iron Drakes and Grudge Throwers, and then 1 Hammerer, and then 1 Gyrocopter, etc, etc, etc. And just to increase the numbers of this. Maybe it's unnecessary, I don't know. I just like the units, but then again, they are quite strong. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Either way, folks, we have managed to reach the 5th tier, the Age of Reckoning, Nolan Grom, and with that, I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we do or die, we live or not, fighting Valkia yet again, as well as her army. While we are damaged, we continue moving towards Nagaron and taking their territories here. We have begun the war against Clan Moors and against the Legion of Asgore to our south, and we will be confederating in 2 turns. Karazakarak, we will also knock out the champion of Nurgle with Gromby, and then send him southward to work on these guys before moving through the Empire and presumably towards Bretonnian or Orky territories, depending how all of this goes over the next few turns. So, exciting times to come, plenty more dwarf work to do, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.